Welcome to the What's Our Verdict podcast, where we fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-hosts Javier Ortiz.
What is up, nerds?
And Ian Anderson.
Some shit.
All right. Do you guys ever find yourself wondering if you should spend the time, money, or both on a movie? We're here to answer that question for you. Each week, we put a movie on trial, discuss the facts, pass judgment, and let you know our verdict. To check out our other episodes, if you're joining us on Facebook or Instagram, you can head to our website using the link in our bio. Or up in the post on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, the link's in our description down below. You can also listen to us wherever fine podcasts are found: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Ghana, just to name a few. And of course, it's always completely free. You can also find that link on Facebook above, and then on YouTube in the link in the description down below. So today we're reviewing The Trial of the Chicago 7. It was released October 16th, 2020. It was written and directed by Aaron Sorkin. It stars Sacha Baron Cohen, Eddie Redmayne, Alex Sharp, Jeremy Strong, John Carroll Lynch, Yahya Abdul-Mateen, Mark Rylance, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Ben Shankman, and Frank Langella. It is
and Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton's in there as a guest star. There's so many people in this movie. Like, it is out of control how big this cast is. So this movie is about the story of 7 people on trial stemming from various charges surrounding the uprising at the 1968 Democratic National Convention in Chicago, Illinois. So let's just get started. I will jump in with my spoiler-free on this movie. Guys, this movie was very political, very relevant to a lot of the things that are going on. There's many parallels, obviously.
I didn't pick up on any of the political stuff.
No, I can't even imagine how you would. With all Hollywood movies, right? It's also there's some political or some creative license that's used within the movie. I did do some research on, what's factual, was some of the things that weren't. And there are some things that weren't, but there's quite a bit that was, which is terrifying in so many ways. But it's the biggest thing I will say about this movie is the acting is I keep saying that in a couple of these movies, but this movie probably had some of the best acting I've seen in a long time too. And we just talked about the last one that was this big ensemble cast being amazing, but this one is too. Huge cast, huge acting. The one that really caught me was Sacha Baron Cohen. Like, all I ever see with him is Borat, which drives me crazy.
Oh, he knocked this out of the park. Yeah.
Oh, killer. Really, and everybody else is known as like a serious actor, good dramatic actors. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Eddie Redmayne, all these guys are great actors. But Sacha Baron Cohen, like I said, he was in Les Mis, which was a really cool part for him. But mostly it's just these ridiculous comedies, which he also is good. But this movie,
it was a good middle ground because he was the ridiculous character,
sure,
in a serious movie, right?
Absolutely, yeah, he's all over. But he plays some of the emotion that he draws out is just great. So I really enjoyed this movie. I thought this was a cool movie to watch. I really think everyone should watch it, even especially in light of everything that's going on in our world today, the political climate, everything that's going on. There's some very history repeating itself situations in this that I think people just need to take notice of. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. When it comes to our scale, which I'll break down real quick for those that are joining us for the first time, we do a 3-tiered scale. The top being worth it, means you should definitely watch this movie. Next being stream it, which in this case, if you want to watch it, you can watch it, but you don't need to go out of your way to do so. And then finally skip it, which means just don't watch it. I give this movie a worth it. I thought it was absolutely amazing. The acting's great. The story's great. I think even where they took the license, they did a great job and it still wasn't bad. So for me, definitely a worth it. Javier, why don't you go next?
Okay. So I'm going to give the caveat of I'm trying not to repeat my outburst from Waco. So I did no research on this. So I'm going to judge this based on the fact that we watched a movie and it is a movie. Okay. So that's the point of view that I am coming from with this one. It was awesome. Like, it was funny because when I started watching it, I was like, this movie would be better if it was made by the guys who made The Big Short and Vice, right? Like that kind of historical drama or whatever. By the time I finished the movie. I was like, this was a great movie. I would put it up there with like The Big Short and Vice, those like kind of historical dramas or whatever. Very cool. Like JJ said, acting was incredible. There's a dope cast, and we're not talking like all A-listers, right? You've got like Borat in there. You've got that dude from those knockoff Harry Potter movies,
Yeah.
which I try not to judge him for too harshly, but he did great, right? Like the judge is some like old actor from the 80s.
It's Frank Langella, dude. That guy's an icon.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Not to me, but I'm sure he is, right? But even he did great. Like very hateable. I especially like the part where they took real life footage and cut it into some of the scenes. So like you've got actual footage of cops just cracking people over the dome with batons, because you're like, you always have that thought in the back of your head. You're like, okay, this is a little dramatic. I'm sure there was violence. And then they switch to actual footage and you're like, oh, if anything, like they're kind of toning this down a little bit. Very cool. Like I thought the cinematography and the way that they did that was really cool. Acting was cool. The progression was really captivating. I think the big complaint from movies like this is there's always like a lull where you're trying to learn what's going on, and you're getting to know these characters. I felt a little bit of that in the beginning where they're like naming off people, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to remember like a bunch of Polish names or whatever. That wasn't an issue. I think they did it really well where they kept bringing up people's names. So you really got, okay, that's Bobby Seale. Got it. Anyway, very cool. I think it's worth it. Go watch it. It's dope. It's a great movie.
Cool. Ian, why don't you finish us up for our spoiler free?
You bet. I'm going to say worth it as well. It's definitely something to see and to know about. I found it extremely informative. You guys have mentioned the acting, and I think that was the most enjoyable part for me as well. But like the interaction between all the actors, it was really interesting seeing a bunch of people who had the same goal in mind, but had completely different ways about going about it. So I found that really interesting, and especially when it kind of comes out when they're like back at their, what did they call it? Like Conspiracy Central or whatever.
Yeah.
Like when they're interacting back there, and you kind of see those different motives come out. It's very interesting. Yeah, go watch it. It's worth watching. You'll learn a lot. I think you guys touched on a lot of the other stuff, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse.
Last thing I want to add, unlike Waco, who was very leaning against the government, but still gave you some like back and forth as to why you should hate both sides, this doesn't do that.
No, it doesn't.
You are very much against the justice system and against the federal government the whole time. So there's a little bit of bias there, but I think it's it's earned bias because the government sucks.
Yeah, it's definitely anti-establishment for sure.
Yes,
but I also think it was tastefully done. Like it wasn't so abrupt that it made me uncomfortable. It was just real, right? To me, I was watching this going, this just feels real. So it was very interesting that way. But I also wanted to bring up, and I probably will forget now that I'm trying to bring it up, but there was something that, gosh, anyway, I just really enjoyed this movie because that thought's gone. I was having a thought.
A really good addition, though, JJ. I'm really glad we waited for that one.
Yeah, me too. Jeez, it happens to me all the time. Anyway, go check this movie out. As you can see, it's across the board a worth it movie. It's on Netflix. Go watch this movie. Very interesting, very good movie. Yeah, also check us out at our website, whatsoververdict.com. Come leave us a comment. You'll be able to find our full deep dive review, which we're getting ready to go record this coming Monday on the 26th. You'll be able to find that wherever you find your podcast that you listen to. So I mentioned a couple of those at the beginning. Go find that. You can also use the link that's in this post or in our bio or in the description on Facebook down below. So we appreciate you tuning in. We hope you enjoyed our spoiler-free review of the Trial of Chicago 7. Go check it out. We hope to hear from you soon. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye-bye now.
Whoa!